Hello students, welcome back to my class. I am Muhammad Asim, your English teacher. Today I am going to teach you the subject honeycomb. The topic is a gift of chappals. I have taught you the first part of this topic. This is the second part. The chapter is divided into two parts, but the chapter is lengthy, that's why I am going to complete it into three parts. So the second part would be divided into two more parts. So let us start this class. So open page number 22 in your book. This is the second one. Mirdu crept up to the window. Lally was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold bordered vesty edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. Yeah, a lot of meanings, so you can see the meanings. For example, here crepe means to move slowly, awkwardly means weirdly, bowstring means a stick like piece of equipment which is used to play the violin, jutting means sticking out, and glazed means it is used for field, concentration means focus, bony means skeleton like, fringe means the part of your hair that is cut so that it hang over your forehead. Tuft, a small amount of hair growing together. Gleamed means shining, shined, here you can say shone, sparkled. Leathery means tough, flexible. Glittered means sparkled or shined. Glided means moved along smoothly. Vesti is called dhoti in Tamil. In Tamil, the dhoti is called the vesti. So I'm not going to explain it word by word because the you can say that this sun is so you can say big. That's why I'm going to explain the whole paragraph. In this paragraph, Mirdu, it is said that Mirdu crept up. Crept means move. Mirdu moved noiselessly and slowly up to the window, and she saw Lally sitting a little distance away, holding her violin and boasting in a weird position. And her elbows were jutting and her eyes were filled with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the music master, who looked like a skeleton. He was almost bald, with a fringe of oily black hair around his ears and a traditional type of tuft. There was a shiny gold chain around the master's leathery neck. There was a diamond ring on his hand which gleamed as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot was sticking out from his gold bordered dhoti, and his large scrawny big toe was moving according to the rhythm of the violin. In Hindi, you can see that Mirdu moved noiselessly. Here it is said Mirdu crept up to the window. Mirdu went towards. Mirdu जो है विंडो की तरफ गई. उसने लल्ली को जो है बैठे हुए देखा कि वो जो है एक वियर्ड एक अजीब पोजीशन में बैठी हुई थी. उसके एल्बो जो क्या है वो इस तरह से थे जैसे कि जो है वो वायलिन पर बजाने की कोशिश कर रही हो. वो पूरा कंसंट्रेशन वायलिन पर दे रही थी और उसके सामने जो है जो म्यूज़िक मास्टर थे वो बैठे हुए थे. और वो एक तरह से पूरी तरह से गंजे थे. उनके सर पर बस थोड़े बहुत बाल थे जो कि एक टफ्ट की शक्ल में थे. उनकी जो है गले में एक चमकती हुई सोने की चेन थी, और एक जो है डायमंड की रिंग भी थी उनके हाथ में जो चमक रही थी। जैसे जब वो वायलिन बजाते थे तो अप डाउन होने की वजह से उनका हाथ, वो रिंग जो है चमकती थी। So these things are given in this paragraph. Now let us see the next paragraph. The next paragraph is, he played he played a few notes. Lally stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along, as Ravi said. Little stirred at that huge, beringed hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. So, in this paragraph, the writer tells us that the music master played a few notes and Lally tried to follow him on her violin. म्यूजिक मास्टर ने कुछ जो है वायलिन के नोट्स बजाए, और लली ने उनको जो है फॉलो करने की कोशिश की, बट द वायलिन लुक्ड हेल्पलेस एंड अनहैप्पी इन हर हैंड्स एज दो इट वाजंट बीइंग यूज्ड प्रॉपर्ली। लेकिन लल्ली को चूँकि जो है वायलिन बजाने का ढंग नहीं था, इसलिए वो अनहैप्पी नज़र आता था, जैसे ऐसा लगता था कि लल्ली के हाथ में आने के बाद उसका स्वर ही बिगड़ जा रहा हो। देयर वॉज a lot of difference between Lalli's and the music master's melody. लल्ली और म्यूजिक मास्टर की जो मेलोडी थी उसमें बहुत फ़र्क थे। The notes which the master looked as though they were floating up and fitting perfectly into the tracks of the melody which were not visible. उनकी जो है मेलोडी तो विजिबल नहीं थी, लेकिन ऐसा लगता था कि वो बिल्कुल ट्रैक पर चल रहे हैं। इट वॉज एग्जैक्ट वाट रवि सेड। रवि ने कहा, जैसा कि रवि ने कहा कि ऐसा लगता है कि म्यूज़िक मास्टर बिल्कुल परफेक्ट हों, उनके वायलिन बजाना जो है कितना मधुर लगता है, बट लल्ली जब बजाती है तो क्या होता है, वो बिल्कुल अजीब सी आवाज़ आती है। मृदु couldn't take her eyes off the hand which was effortlessly up and down the stem making melodious music. और क्या है, मृदु अपनी आंखें हटा ही नहीं पा रही थी म्यूज़िक मास्टर के हाथ से, जो कि ऐसे एफर्टलेसली बगैर किसी मेहनत के ऐसा लगता था कि ऊपर और नीचे हो रहे हैं, और उनसे जो क्या है बहुत ही मधुर संगीत निकल रहा हो। दिस वॉज द सेम हैंड विच हैड द रिंग ऑन इट। और ये वही हाथ था, वही सेम हाथ था जिसमें उन्होंने रिंग पहन रखी थी। उसी हाथ से वो वायलिन बजा रहे थे जिसमें उन्होंने रिंग पहन रखी थी। Now let us see the next one. Squawk. The meaning of squawk is screech, high-pitched noise. There was Lully drilling again. Amma came a wail from the gate. Wail means cry. Amma, oh. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that Lully made the same screeching noise which meant she had started drilling again. यानी वो फिर से बेसुरा जो है वायलिन बजाना उसने शुरू कर दिया। Then suddenly there came a wail from the gate. Then suddenly there came a, you can say, cry from the gate. Someone was calling रुक्कुमणि। कोई जो है रुक्कुमणि को बुला रहा था। अम्मा ओ, रुक्कुमणि को कोई बुला रहा था। Now let us see the next paragraph. Ravi sent that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda where she was chatting with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time they found another house to beg from, Pati explained to Tapi. Veranda, you know, porch. Chatting means talking, gossiping with each other is called the chatting. So, in this paragraph, The writer tells us that after hearing the cry, after hearing the voice, after hearing the noise, Ravi's mother cried from the back veranda, asking him to send the beggar away. जब रवि की माँ ने बाहर भिखारी की आवाज़ को सुना, बेगर की आवाज़ को सुना, तो उन्होंने वहीं से कहा कि बेगर को यहाँ से वापस भेज दो. एट द बैक वरांदा शी तापी एंड पाती वर टॉकिंग विद वन अनदर. बैक वरांदा में वह यानी रवि की मदर, तापी और पाती ये सब क्या कर रहे थे? वह टॉकिंग विद वन अनदर, एक दूसरे से सभी लोग बातें कर रहे थे. Pati then explained to Tapi that the beggar had been coming to their house every day for the past week. पाती ने जो है तापी को बताया कि हर हफ्ते के हर दिन ये बेगर यहाँ पर इसी समय आ जाता है. And now it was time for him to find another house to beg from. And now he must go to some another house to beg from. और अब उसे जो क्या है, भीख मांगने के लिए, बेगिंग के लिए किसी और जो है दरवाजे पर जाना चाहिए. Now see the next one. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the to appear and go away, said Ravi sternly. My Pati says it's time you found another house to beg from. The meaning of apparently means obviously, snooze means short sleep, alms means money, clothes or food given to poor people is called alms, sternly means strictly or sharply. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that Ravi went towards the beggar and Midhu and Meena followed him. The beggar had already started becoming comfortable in the garden. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against the tree trunk. He was preparing to take a little snooze while he waited for someone to give him alms. Ravi went to the beggar and told him to go away. He also said that his grandmother says that it was time for the beggar to find another house to beg from. इस पैराग्राफ में हम देखते हैं कि रवि जो है बेगर के पास जाता है, मृदु और मीना उसके पीछे जाती हैं. बेगर पहले ही गार्डन में आ चुका है और वह अपने पैरों को फैलाकर नीम ट्री का सहारा लेकर के वहाँ पर सो जाता है. नीम ट्री के ट्रंक का, उसकी तना का सहारा लेकर सो जाता है. वो थोड़ा सा जो है हल्का सा आराम करना चाहता है और वो चाहता है कि कुछ उसको जो है भीख में मिल जाए. रवि बेगर के पास जाता है और उससे कहता है कि यहाँ से चले जाओ और तुम कोई दूसरा घर तलाश करो भीख मांगने के लिए. The beggar opened, now let us see the next paragraph. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of the house, he said at last in a voice choked with feeling, are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together. Kept my body and soul together means managed to stay alive. Andhya generosity. Andhya generosity means here can say generosity कहते हैं सखावत को. For a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice. Amma, Amma, oh, said his will might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. The meaning of feeble is weak. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth with its few remaining teeth stained brown with brittle chewing. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that after listening to Ravi, the beggar opened his eyes and gazed at Ravi. Gaze means here can say looked. and looked at Ravi, Meena, and Midu. Then he said that the ladies of the house were very kind. It was due to their generosity that the beggar was able to stay alive. He also said that it was unbelievable that they wouldn't give him any alms and turn him away. He said this in a choked voice. He then raised his voice and cried for Rukumani. Moreover, the wail was not feeble. It started in a deep, strong rumble in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth. The few remaining teeth he had were brown in color due to brittle chewing. रवि को सुनने के बाद बेकर अपनी आंखें खोलता है। रवि और मिर्दा मिर्दू को देख की तरफ देखता है और फिर वो कहता है कि इस घर की लेडीज़ जो है बहुत काइंड हैं, बहुत हमदिल हैं। ये उनकी सखावत ही है, उनकी जेनरोसिटी है जिसकी वजह से बेगर आज जिंदा है। वो ये भी कहता है कि इट वाज अनबिलीवेबल दैट दे वुडंट गिव हिम एनी एम्स, कि वो इस पर यकीन नहीं करता कि वो उसे कुछ भीख पे न दें और उसे यूं ही वापस भेज दें। उसके बाद वो एक कमज़ोर सी आवाज़ में कहता है, वो थोड़ी सी अपनी आवाज़ को जो है चोक देता है, थोड़े से तेज़ आवाज़ में कहता है, कॉल करता है रुकमणी को। और फिर वो जो है रुकमणी को कॉल करता है। स्ट्रांग रंबल समवेयर इन हिज विदर बिल्ली एंड केम बूमिंग आउट ऑफ हिज माउथ विद हिज फ्यू रिमेनिंग टीथ स्टेन ब्राउन विद बिटल चिविंग। बिटल चिविंग की वजह से उसके जो है, बिटल चिविंग ए टाइप ऑफ स्मोकलेस टोबैको, एक टोबैको होता है जिसको जो है खाने की वजह से जो क्या है उसके दांत जो क्या है वो ब्राउन हो गए हैं, और वो जो है अपने ब्राउन दांतों को दिखाते हुए जो क्या है रुकुमनी को कॉल करता है, आवाज़ देता है। Ravi tell him, now let us see the next one. Ravi tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen called Rukumani. Ravi tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen called Rukumani and he is not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. Fed up means annoyed. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There, under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. Now let us see the explanation of this paragraph. Fed up, you can say tired or unhappy. Now Rukumani told Ravi to tell the beggar that there was nothing left in the kitchen. अब रुकुमनी ने रवि से कहा कि बेगर से कह दो कि किचन में कुछ नहीं बचा है। For her to give the beggar, उसके पास किचन में कुछ नहीं बचा है कि वो बेगर को दे दे। Also she told Ravi that the beggar is not supposed to come again. और उसने रवि से ये भी कहा कि बेगर से कह दो कि वो अब दोबारा यहाँ न आए। She sounded fed up. ऐसा लगा कि वो बिल्कुल अनहैप्पी है, नाखुश है, बिल्कुल टायर्ड हो चुकी है उस बेगर से। However, there was no need to repeat this to the beggar. हम जानते हैं कि इसको बेगर को रिपीट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि रवि और रुकुमनी, रवि के साथ साथ बेगर ने भी जो है रवि की मदर की रुकुमनी की आवाज़ सुन ली थी। रुकुमनी हैड सेड इट सो लाउड दैट एवरीवन कुड हियर इट क्लियरली। रुकुमनी ने इतनी तेज़ आवाज़ में कहा था कि सभी ने उसको सुन लिया था। बेगर सेट अप एंड साइड, बेगर उठकर बैठ गया और उसने एक आह भरी। I will go, I will go. Now let us see the next paragraph. I will go, I will go, he said wearily. Only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot, the tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large pink peeling blisters on the soles of his bare feet. In this paragraph, really means you can say exhaustedly. Tar, a substance which is used to construct roads. Blisters means bubbles on the skin. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that the beggar said that he would go, but after a few minutes rest. बेगर ने कहा कि नहीं वो चला जाएगा, लेकिन थोड़ी देर उसको जो है आराम करने के लिए चाहिए, थोड़ी देर उसको जो है रेस्ट करने के लिए चाहिए। He then explained that the sun was so hot that the tar had melted on the road and his feet were already blistered. उसने कहा कि रोड पर जो तार लगे हुए हैं, जो तारकोल बिछाए गए हैं, वो जो है बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी की वजह से वो मेल्ट हो चुके हैं, वो पिघल चुके हैं, जिसकी वजह से उसके पैरों में को जो है परेशानी होगी, बिकॉज ही वॉज द बेयर फूड, क्योंकि वो जो है नंगे पैर था. ही then showed the blisters to the children. और फिर उसने ब्लिस्टर्स को जो है अपने पैरों में पड़े छालों को जो क्या है बच्चों को दिखाया. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals, Mridu whispered to Meena Ravi. मृदु ने मीना और रवि से कहा कि मुझे लगता है कि उसके पास चप्पल खरीदने के लिए पैसे नहीं हैं. Okay, let us see the next paragraph. The next paragraph is, I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals, Mridu whispered to Meena Ravi. Have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? I don't know, said Ravi. Mine are too small to fit his feet. I would have given them to him, and his feet were larger than Mridu's and Meena's. Then Mridu whispered to Meena and Ravi, saying that she thought that the beggar doesn't have any money to buy chappals for himself. तब मृदु ने मीना और रवि से कहा कि मुझे लगता है कि बेगर के पास चप्पल खरीदने के लिए कोई पैसे नहीं हैं. So then asked if they had an old pair in the house. इसीलिए मृदु ने उनसे पूछा क्या उनके पास कोई पुराना चप्पल घर में नहीं है. रवि didn't know. रवि को नहीं पता था. He said that his feet are smaller than the beggar. He would have given his slippers to him. रवि ने कहा कि उसके पैर तो बेगर से बहुत छोटे हैं, नहीं तो वो अपना चप्पल, अपना जो है स्लीपर्स उनको दे देता. Also his feet were larger than both the girls. और ये भी कि उन दोनों मृदु और मीना से भी उस बेगर के जो पैर थे वो बड़े थे, जिसकी वजह से वो दोनों भी उसको चप्पल नहीं दे सकती थी. Now let us see the next paragraph. The next paragraph is, the beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. He needs something on his feet, Meena said, her big eyes filling. It's not fair. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that the beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti, meaning that he was preparing to go back to the road. अब जो है अपने कपड़ों को सही करते हुए बेगर रोड की तरफ जाने के लिए तैयार हो रहा था. He looked fearfully at the road, which was gleaming in the afternoon heat. उसने डरते हुए रोड की तरफ देखा, जो कि दोपहर में बहुत तेज़ी से चमक रहा था, हीट की वजह से, गर्मी की वजह से, और वो उसको उसी पर चलकर जाना था. He was afraid of the melted tar. वो मेल्टेड टार जो था, जो तारकोल था, जो पिघल गया था, वो उससे डरा हुआ था. मीनू then said that the beggar needed something on his feet. मीनू ने तब कहा कि उसे जो है कुछ न कुछ अपने पैरों में चाहिए. As her eyes filled with tears, she complained that it wasn't fair that the beggar had to live like that. उसकी आंखें जो हैं आंसुओं से भर गईं और उसने कंप्लेन किया. उसने कहा कि जो है बेगर को इस तरह से उन्हें नहीं जाने देना चाहिए. Now let us see the next paragraph. The next paragraph is, said Ravi, I am thinking about it. Blubbering it. It's not fair. It's not fair isn't going to help. In 2 minutes he will be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So where do we get them? Come, let's search the house. He pushed Midu and Meena into the house. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that Ravi told Meena to be quiet. रवि ने मीना को चुप रहने के लिए कहा. He said that he was thinking about what to do and crying and repeating a phrase wasn't going to help. He said that he was thinking about it. He said that it's not fair. It's not fair going to. It isn't going to help. अगर हम उसकी मदद नहीं करेंगे तो ये हमारे लिए अच्छा नहीं है. हमें उसकी मदद करनी चाहिए. He said that in 2 minutes the beggar would be out on the road and so he needed a pair of chappals. उसने कहा कि अभी 2 मिनट में बेगर जो क्या है रोड पर चला जाएगा और उसे एक पेयर चप्पल की, एक जोड़ी चप्पलों की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. Then he pushed the girls into the house and said that they need to search the house to get a suitable pair for the beggar. तब उसने दोनों लड़कियों को घर के अंदर धकेला और कहा कि हमें अभी जो है जल्द से जल्द एक पेयर चप्पल ढूंढना चाहिए जो बेगर के लिए सुटेबल हो. Now see the next one. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mirdu's eyes fell on the odd-looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, "Whose are those?" Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby-looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. "These are just the right size," he said, picking them up. Mirdu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. In this paragraph, the writer tells us that as soon as Mirdu stepped into the veranda, her eyes fell on the pair of chappals she saw when she arrived. जब मिर्दू वरांदा में पहुंची तो उसने उन जो एक जोड़ी चप्पलों को देखा जब वो आई थी तो जिसको उसने देखा था. She called and Ravi and whispered, asking whose those chappals belong to. उसने रवि को बुलाया और उससे पूछा कि वो चप्पल किससे बिलोंग करते हैं. रवि turned and gave the chappals a quick look and smiled. रवि ने जो है चप्पलों को देखा और वो हल्के से हंसा. He said that those were the ones the beggar needed. उसने कहा कि ये बेगर के लिए जो है ये वही चप्पल हैं जिनकी बेगर को ज़रूरत है, यानी ये बेगर के जो है नाप के चप्पल हैं. He picked them up. उसने उन चप्पलों को उठा लिया. The girls followed him nervously back into the garden. लड़कियों ने उसे क्या है नर्वसली गार्डन की तरफ जो है फॉलो किया, यानी गार्डन तक वो उसके साथ गई. मिर्दू एंड मीना फॉलोड हिम नर्वसली बैक इनटू द गार्डन. गार्डन तक जो है नर्वसली फॉलो करते हुए मिर्दू और मीना भी रवि को फॉलो करते हुए गई. फॉर टुडे we are going to complete this chapter in one more class. So this is the second class for today. My class is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.